And welcome to the SVG-TV news for Saturday, August 23rd. I'm Khalil Kato. Police here are investigating the shooting death of a shopkeeper and farmer of Park Hill who was gunned down in the wee hours of this morning, a few yards away from his home. Reports are that Charles Ryan, better known as Charlo, was walking home around 1 a.m. when he received a gunshot to his head. He is said to have collapsed just outside his gate. It's reported that after the gunshots rang out, upon inquiry, neighbors discovered Ryan outside the gate. He was then rushed to the Georgetown Hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. The motive behind the killing is not known. SVG-TV News will bring you more on this story as further information comes to hand. As St. Vincent and the Grenadines is said to be getting to the point where it is no longer bankable. That's the view of opposition MP for Central Kingstown, Sinclair Leacock, speaking in Parliament this week on the issue of government seeking to raise a loan from the NIS fund to liquidate outstanding contribution it owes to the National Insurance Services. Leacock says the records are out there that the country is running a deficit. He says what compounds the situation is the nature of the comparisons being made by the government.
Burying our heads in the sand like proverbial ostrich. We draw reference to Barbados being in difficulty, laying off 3,000 workers. St. Lucia asking its workers to take a pay cut. Well, you know what is the reality? Even in their depressed state, St. Lucia and Barbados economies are far better than ours in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The opposition MP also claims that the country is behind others in terms of economic performances.
You know what hasn't been said, Mr. Speaker? This is not the totality of the exposures of the NIS. If I recall, the government have been involved in creative financing before, involving the NIS. I've spoken about these things in Parliament, platforms, in radio and other places. Government wants money to build an airport, for which we should not incur any debt. It goes to national property. National property goes up to NIS. NIS approves. They go down to the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and they get the money. 3 or 4 some. That's how we've been working these things out. We can't keep going on like that, Mr. Speaker. To fix the problem, Mr. Speaker, to prevent ourselves from getting into this dilemma, it's not a matter about being non-interfering, Mr. Speaker, and lose talk of non-interference. It is about fixing the economy.
Meantime, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves told Parliament that when all essential questions are put forward, the government receives no support from the opposition.
We try to work together for investors to build a hotel, a resort down at Buckerment. All kinds of criticisms against the project.
What are you talking about?
I didn't demonstrate against the Canawan project.
Come on. Yes.
I never demonstrated against the cruise ship, Bert.
I saw you.
I never demonstrated against the cruise ship, Bert.
Never demonstrated.
The only time I went around the cruise ship, Bert, when the cruise ship Bert.
I ain't telling them the cruise ship, Bert.
Where, Canawan?
Tell them about Canawan.
I was concerned then, and I'm still concerned, but I can't change the fact that we have by agreement given 2/3 of Canawan to developers. I told Mr. Saladino, if it were me, Ralph Gonsalves as Prime Minister, he would not have gotten 2/3 of the island.
There is said to be a very little focus being placed on speech presentation as it relates to literacy in schools. At the swearing-in of the new Peace Corps volunteers here, feature speaker Curtis King says that while much focus is being placed on reading and writing, speech presentation needs attention as well.
We must recognize that we have to develop the student in a holistic manner. And speech is very important. And we need to reduce the deficit that is much more marked in that area. So that, yes, we need to continue the focus on improving our students' skills in reading and writing. But we need now to move towards speech, because it is important. And it is also challenging, given that the technology itself presents challenges of its own. I mean, those of you who have children, those of you who are teachers and are exposed to the language that the students use and these social networks would know what I'm speaking about. And when they, I like to put it in graphic terms, when they cultivate that sort of language, it presents great challenges to the educators at the school level to correct.